Hello, welcome to Natasha, the only entrepreneurship reality game show in Zimbabwe. When I heard about our next entrepreneur, who's our 5th contestant for the season, it took me to Italy. Why? The home or the land of suits. Our next entrepreneur is Phiri. He is into fashion, specifically suits. Now, I won't tell you much more about him. Let's check out and hear more about Phiri.
My name is Phiri. I'm 23 and I'm a fashion designer. I was born here in Harare, Mbare to be specific. I went to Chirodzi Primary, again in Mbare, for my primary grade 1 to 7. From 1 to 4, I was by Regina Mundi Secondary School in Kwai, and then I did my A-level at Kokomere in Masvingo. I really used to envy celebrities on TVs, looking good and all. So back at home, we didn't have much. The closest thing that I had to a suit was a pair of pants and a waistcoat. When I got into college, I had a friend of mine whom I grew up with, who's really a good designer, who's really good at making suits. So I told him I really want a nice suit, but then my first suit, I'm going to make it for myself. So the very first day when I wore my first suit, the feeling that I had was awesome. I felt some value had been added to me. So immediately I knew people would want to pay for that kind of a feeling. So I pitched the idea to him, dude, let's make money with this. I'm very confident that people would want to pay for this kind of feeling that I'm having right now. So 2016, we started with a few suits, and I used my expertise in social media marketing and just generally the kind of networks that I'd created. From there, we've been growing from one step to another, and here we are. Recently, we joined forces and registered the company, and now we are now trading legally. Does bespoke kind of suits, which are totally tailor-made specifically for the client. Why we're doing this, we realized a gap in the market where originally people get into shops and get their suits. Almost all the time, the client is straight from the shop to the tailor to make alterations. So we realized that for us to give convenience to the clients, there is that gap in the market where people really need to get a suit done for them specifically. So you'd realize with our suit is never too small, is never too baggy, it's just the perfect size. Usually when we get a client, we ask them to check for the kind of design that they want on our website. When they do that, we either invite them for measurements or we send a representative to go and measure them. After that, we come back into the workshop and work on the suit. Within 5 working days, we are done and the suit is ready for collection. So coming to our target market, we are specifically targeting young people, especially students in tertiary institutions and young individuals who recently got their jobs and they are looking into getting their first suit. We also realize that it's not every young person who's comfortable in a suit. So to service this part of the market, we also have streetwear. Basically, their t-shirts, their crop tops, their track pants, and you name it. We also have a facility where someone can come to hire a suit if they don't afford one. Say you've got an interview and you don't have money to get your first suit, you can also come through and we hire a suit out to you. We have a few challenges with running our day-to-day. So with the kind of material that is sourced locally, we sometimes can't reach the top-notch quality of the products that we want, mainly based on our textile industry here in Zim. And sometimes we are not really out there. We have got competitors outshining us, and really we hope to grow and figure a way around that.
A common thread I found with all these entrepreneurs that weaved through all of them was the humble beginnings. I actually think you don't need much to get started. You just have to start. And one thing I hated ever since I went to the world of suits was, why do they measure me after I buy the suit? Here's a dynamic young entrepreneur proposing otherwise. No, we will measure you before you buy the suit. After the break, we'll have some sense of direction, as I like to put it, a business compass, some knowledge and insights from an expert. See you after the break. Welcome back. They say knowledge is not power, but knowledge is potential power. So in Natasha, we drink from so many experts. Our next expert will give us some insights on how to manage and run our own business.
Imports are anything, goods or services, brought into a country from outside its borders. Then the exports are anything that you are sending outside the confinements of your geographic country. Importers have the legal obligation of making sure that them as individuals, as corporates, as whatever organization, they've got the necessary documentation and capacity to carry on the business of importing. Most goods that people import, they will have licenses, permits, etc. It is very important for all importers to have clear understanding of the product that they're importing, the regulations, okay, that follow that particular product. For instance, you can have someone that says that they are into motor spares. They want to import those rubber hoses that you find on radiators. Such commodities or such products will, according to statute and ZIMRA as well, those will have permits and licenses that you need to have in order for you to successfully import such a unit. For an exporter now, it becomes not necessarily complicated, but there are a number of processes that you have to adhere to. We always say a good business is one that complies with all regulations. It respects the authorities within that particular section of industry. What you will find is most exporters run into problems because they do not have the necessary documentation in order for them to actually export whatever product they are producing or whatever product that they have created for the international market.
How much of the cup of knowledge did you gulp? Yes, knowledge is potential power in Natasha, not power. Now, the crux of our matter, for me, the climax and zenith of the show, the SWOT analysis. We say in Natasha, if you know your strengths, your weaknesses, and look out for the threats and maximizing opportunities, you've got an edge in your business. We hear from Blessing Phiri what he feels are his strengths and weaknesses for him in his business, and also opportunities and threats that he sees.
So coming to our strengths, suits are tailor-made specifically for the client. So this is really what everyone wants. They don't want a suit which is too big, which is too baggy, or which is too small. So it's specifically made for a client. And our designers are young and in contact with the market. They really know what's happening and the current trends that are happening. So again, we're using a combination of psychological pricing and penetrative pricing. So in psychological pricing, instead of marketing our suits as $60, we are pricing it at $59.99. So really, if you get two suits, ideally that's the same price, but then if you suit at $59.99, you definitely come to our suit. Then again, on penetrative pricing, we have tried to make our suits as affordable as possible till we reach good brand reputation and customer loyalty that we require. We've got a unique selling proposition. Studies shows that young people spend an average of 9 hours on social media or on the internet every day. So our target markets are youths, and you know youths with social media. So we market our products on social media, be it on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and you know recently we just got accepted on Google, so you can now find it on the internet. Basically, yes, that's our strengths. So on our weaknesses, we lack resources to advertise. Our competitors are advertising better than us, therefore we lack exposure. Again, we do not have capacity to stock so as to fill our showrooms and stores. We also do not have the capacity to have a proper showroom or a store, because sometimes where we are working from is not easily accessible by our clients. Getting into the opportunities, youths account for 60% of the country's population. That's our target market. Tertiary institutions are enrolling approximately 130,000 students every year. So at some point, all these students would need a suit for either their presentations or something. That's a rich market. So with technological advancements, we also now have a website. So people from abroad, say in the UK, can now order a suit. So again, we've got a fair market share, as older generations still prefer their vintage kind of suits, and really they are not there in the market. We are there to service that market. So on our threads, we've got increasingly declining prices of suits from China, Turkey, and Tanzania. And again, there's a monopoly in the fabric production industry in Zimbabwe. So for example, if David Whitehead decides to shut down today, you are automatically booted out of the system. So if I get $1,000, would revamp our stock, would channel most of it, I'm sure 60% of it towards advertising, and
an element in entrepreneurship time. He had so much to say and he couldn't speak in time. As an entrepreneur, you must speak in the allotted time. The ball is now in the judges' court. We need to hear what they think about Blessing's SWOT analysis. You heard what he said, I heard what he said. What do the judges think? After the break, we're going to hear from the judges what they think about Blessing's SWOT analysis. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I definitely feel like I need a new suit. What do you think? We come now to the verdict. The judges have to give their say and give points to our suit guy. Judges, what do you think? Judge Rafa?
The whole essence of SWOT is to identify opportunity and then deal with the opportunity to strengthen what you identify. I was very excited when this young man said, I had a feel-good feeling when I put on my first suit. And that's where his passion grew from. Yes. Tailor-made, perfect fit, no fumbling. Product tailored to a customer. My goodness, this is exceptional, because he cannot have a competitor with regards to that approach. I particularly liked his aspect of psychological pricing, penetrative pricing. I didn't hear his academic and training background, but to me it says he's a young man who has got a quest for knowledge. He's going to keep on researching. My goodness.
And does that count as a strength?
It is, for me, it is a strength number 1. 40 out of 50 for me.
Wow.
Product differentiation, just to cap it. He's saying we sell, but we also hire out. Vanochata, they don't normally go and buy suits expensive. Some of them just hire out and that's it. Done. I'm very happy with that kind of thing. That approach is good. It gives me a further kudo. Now, weaknesses, lack of advertising resources, no proper showroom store. When you're talking of products that address people's needs, they want access to where you are, be able to easily get there. But he answered it with another strategy where he's saying, on weaknesses 38 out of 50, where he's saying opportunities using the website, delivery. So it's on spot. He's looking at the population. He dissected the market and said 60% of youths in the population, and that's what he's targeting. And tertiary institutions where these people are congregated, he's got a knowledge of his market. He's got it there. He's got it there.
And I think he scored high. These are opportunities.
44 out of 50.
Wow.
Threats, I think access to materials. I didn't quite get that, but David Whitehead, others who produce fabrics.
He mentioned.
Yeah, he mentioned that. I think he's good. I didn't put a score here. I was trying to think through and say, what exactly would I give him on that one? Maybe let me depart off the cuff. 36.
36 off the cuff. Simba, you're nodding a lot. Judge Simba, is it in agreement with these scores? What are your scores? What are your tallies?
I think blessing is a blessing to me.
Beautiful.
Yes,
that is so sweet.
I have a weakness for suits. All I can say is well done. You have gained a customer in the name of me.
And can the numbers back up your...
Yes, for the strength I gave him 48.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, is that not our highest mark in the...
No, he once gave 50, so...
Oh, wow.
He's a
Oh,
suit
yes.
guy.
Yes. And the weaknesses?
I gave him 30. Right. For the opportunities, I gave him 45.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And then for the threats, I gave him 30.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm definitely coming to you.
Does this side of the panel agree with this side of the panel? Judge Rose, you seem to be on the edge of your seat already.
I'm just confused. How does one go from 48, then to 30, and then 40 something, and then to 30 again? Are you trying to balance? Give him what he deserves.
And let's hear from her. What are your numbers? Maybe you've got
Okay, so
some varying numbers as well.
when Blessing started speaking, I saw convenience.
Exactly.
And these days we all want convenience. This is why we have online this, online that. Convenience is important because we are busy doing all sorts of things. Tailor-made, young, trendy, psychological pricing, all those terms that we need to hear in a SWOT analysis. He gave it to us. On strength, I give him 40. Weaknesses, I thought he would have talked about equipment. He didn't talk about equipment. So instead, I was going to give him 45 for that, but because he didn't mention equipment, I'm gonna give him 42. And for opportunities, he did what we call in Shona akapepeta market yake, akaona kuti ndepapi,
akaongorora
Yeah.
nyama iri, and how well did that give?
Well,
He didn't score.
he scored 40 for me, and I thought, blessing. You know, these days there's an uprising of young pastors who wear these skinny suits, and you know that could be a target market. Blessing.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Okay, for threats, well, he was spot on, so I gave him 43.
Wow. Judge, can you look at your paper and tell us if it's in agreement with the other judges?
I think blessing, not just because he's from Bari, where I grew up, where I come from, but I think the young man is onto something. This is unique. This is trend setting. I like the aspect where he's talking about the trend tracking, you know, of course the penetration pricing and the psychological pricing, because your customers must not just be willing, but must be able. Are they willing and able to buy the product that you're selling? So he has mixed, he's come out with a good, you know those triple P's, the pricing, the promotion, and the use of technology is what I'm excited about. Where you can just go to your app or to your website, choose the kind of suit you want, you know, click on a button, tell him to come to a certain address to come and measure you. They come and measure you, and already your suit is in production. This is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking of automation. Yes. You know, convenience, like Judge Rose was talking about. Quick turnaround, yes. So on his strength, I gave him 45. On his weaknesses, I gave him 40. You mentioned just one aspect of resources and whatnot. I think he could have articulated more. On the opportunity, I gave him 45. I think with the trend tracking, he's on the right direction. You know, and on the threat, yes, of course, China is the biggest threat. Even America is feeling that threat, you know. So he knows exactly what he's talking about, where he's coming from, where he's going. This young man, I'm telling you, in the next 6 months, you will see him.
Wow.
Yep.
What's it called?
Do I smell an elusive 6 something there? A wise man once said.
Don't preempt the judges.
Yes, I will not do that. A wise man once said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
No, they don't.
Let's check out the tally. And the numbers have spoken. What I love most about it is not just that our entrepreneur, who has recently presented their SWOT analysis, is now on top with a staggering 651 points. But that's not the end. You have to determine their verdict with your vote, because your vote will add on to the judge's vote, and you can change everything just like that with a snap of your finger. So log on to our Facebook, go on Blessing's post, like his post, and that counts as your vote to add on to the tallies of the judges. So yes, there is a twist, and this tally is not the verdict, because your decision will make the verdict. What a great show it was. A young entrepreneur who came to make us look good. We loved the young man, we loved his business, we got to learn from the expert, and also we got to appreciate what a SWOT analysis is. One of my mentors always tells me, dress like you want to be addressed if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur. In fact, I say dress like a prospect and not a suspect. The juggernaut, I'm out.
On our weaknesses, we lack resources to advertise. So our advertisers, sorry.